Hi, I'm Hope Witkowski, your host of Senior Scene. Legacy, it can mean a lot of different things to many different people. On today's show, we're going to teach you how you can define your legacy. Do you have a will? Do you have a trust? Do you have a power of attorney? We'll visit the experts to give us all the good tricks and understand how to define that legacy. Sibel Grebe is a Torrance attorney who specializes in estate planning. Her clients range in all ages, from young parents who are looking to plan ahead to older adults looking to ensure their property, finances, and health directives are in order once they leave this earth.
It's so important to get your paperwork together, to get an estate plan, be that a small one or a large one. Get the papers together before you have issues of incapacity, stroke, anything that could happen to you, even an accident.
The Jacksonville Business Journal recently published a report that showed an increase in the number of courts throughout the U.S. just dedicated to handling cases involving the validity of one's will. Sibel says that's one of the top reasons her clients come to see her when planning their legacy. They need help planning their wills and family trusts.
I don't know too much about making a will or a trust, or I've heard of a lot of different possibilities, but I haven't explored them yet.
Patricia was born in Paris, France, and is an only child. She lives alone with no children and until just recently never understood the steps of preparing her legacy documents.
I'm here living in the United States as a single woman, no children.
She recently learned about the importance of preparing for her senior years and also for her investments. It was when she stepped in to care for a friend who is 85 years old and unable to care for herself due to extreme dementia.
I had this couple of friends. The husband passed away back in November 2012. I've known them for 25 years because he was my supervisor at work, and his wife, who is 85 right now, is alone. She doesn't have any children. Her family is in France, so me and another gentleman stepped in to help her out.
Patricia came to Sibel to seek help for her friend and learned so much more for her own legacy, which she had never started.
Many of you may not know what a power of attorney is or what it does. It allows another person to step into your shoes and do whatever you would do normally. So that person can either take care of your financial affairs if you're incapacitated and go to the bank and collect monies, deposit monies, handle everything that needs to be done that you usually do. Or on an advanced healthcare directive, which is also a power of attorney, that person can, if needed, place you in a facility, deal with healthcare agents, deal with doctors, fire doctors, just depending how much the document provides for you.
Patricia's friend is an example of what happens to many older adults who have no family to make sure that they have proper medical attention in the event of an illness in their later years.
So she's living in her house in Torrance. We decided to have 24 hours, 7 days a week health care for her at her house. Because she requires help for bathing, for administrating her medications, cooking for her, doing her laundry, and what I do is usually I go over and visit every other day. Luckily, she lives a 10-minute walk from me, so that really helps. And I do the grocery shopping. I stop by the pharmacy. I take her to her doctor's appointments.
Not everyone can boast that they have a friend like Patricia who will be their angel in time of need.
That's why I stepped in, because I just could not let her be, I believe she would be in the hands of the state or somebody, we really don't know. That's why I'm hoping, for the best for her and making sense to her for her future. She has a future, I believe, I just need to have her find a way to get a little happy. Right now she's not, but she lost her husband just 9 months ago.
Whenever you check into a hospital, you get asked the question, do you have an advanced health care directive? The purpose is for the hospital to know what your wishes are in the event of an unforeseen outcome. Sibel provided this service for Patricia's 85-year-old friend and became her co-conservator.
What is also very important is for the client to choose the proper person, especially for an advanced healthcare directive. Who is that person? It's very helpful to know that person is close by. That person has the ability to do what you're saying you want done in your power of attorney. For example, if it's time to pull the plug, that's what we call it. It's not the legal term, but the time to pull the plug, the person may say, I'm not going to do that. So you want to make sure that this agent of yours follows your directions, basically to the T, and also knows about you, cares about you, is willing to visit you, hopefully on a daily basis or at least once a month, and really knows how to deal with healthcare professionals.
Patricia received a life lesson while being the angel for her 85-year-old friend who would have been a ward of the state were it not for her help.
I'm planning on, and actually what I'm doing to help my friend is a whole education for me, and I'm finding out, information little by little from our attorney and from reading in the papers, and yes, I will plan.
Unlike Patricia, Susanna learned from her mother about getting all these important documents in order. She has met with Sibel to get her documents completed.
I was an only child, and my mother was a widow, and she had heard about forming a trust, and together we found a trust company, and the trust was established in 2004, and my mother passed away in 2011.
Even though Susanna's mother had a trust, she found out the hard way that a portion of the property that her mother willed to her wasn't on the title. Her mother used a trust company and not an attorney, and some of the important elements were missing in that title. She learned the hard way about the challenges of probate courts, along with the costs paid to those courts.
The judge said that since we could prove that it was the intent that this piece of property be included in the trust, that they would grant the title without any further difficulty, and we did not even have to go to court. It was decided before the court date.
Susanna is in the process of making sure that all areas of her family trust are in order. She has become an advocate for helping others.
I've mentioned it to several people because they knew the process, the shock of not being able to finish this process because of this one piece of land, and I'm telling everybody that they do need to form trusts for their family, for medical reasons as well as for legacy.
Only you can determine what you want your legacy to be. Maybe you want it to be personal possessions, your final wishes, or financial gifts to family, friends, or charities.
Legacy can mean so many things to different people. For me, it's really important right now to do a lot of pro bono work. I do a lot of charitable organization events. I've been a chair of an organization. Those things are important. My mother, for example, has prepared tapes from early on, which includes her whole lifetime. And to me, that is the most valuable thing anybody can do. She will have a tape. We were 7 children. We are now 4. And she will have a tape for each one of us with her entire life on it, obviously more than one tape. I also have seen recently photographers that put pictures together from early on the children and put some kind of a movie together, which would be a wonderful legacy gift. I tell my younger clients that come in and prepare a trust, which is very interesting. There are more younger couples coming in. I ask them to prepare a letter to their daughter or to their son that may only be a year old and say what they want for them. And then that could be sent to me and I scan it in or kept close. But they should do something like that, and often they really like to do that.
We have all probably heard of having our will in order, but do we really know much about it? Maybe you have heard about family trust, but really don't understand the difference.
Often people also don't know the difference between trusts and wills. A trust is what we call a living document. It's set up while you're alive. It provides for the time when you're incapacitated. So for example, if you have somebody staying in your home, one of your children, and you want that child to be able to live in that home while you go to a nursing home, you want to make sure that you provide in that trust. This particular daughter gets to stay here, and you may want to say what she needs to pay or what she doesn't need to pay, because you may have a different trustee, another child, who may say, you can no longer live here. So that's the living document. A will only comes into effect from the moment you die.
If you have a family trust, have you ever looked at it? Looked at it after the attorney took the time to prepare what looks like a big book that you don't want to read again?
I recommend to clients that they should look at their trust every year when they do their tax returns. So to check if any changes have occurred, if there are any, let's say there are new investments that have not been transferred into the trust or to the trustee of the trust. It's important that everything is streamlined, so when the day comes when you die, that what should be in the trust is in the trust, and what should not be in the trust is outside of the trust with beneficiary designations. So every year would be a good time to do that.
The many forms of leaving your legacy are guaranteeing that you do not have the same problems that Patricia's 85-year-old friend went through. A power of attorney will relieve your heirs from going through conservatorship, which can cost over $6,000 and months in court.
Patricia actually is a co-conservator in court. That was very involved, very costly, because her friend did not have a durable power for finances or an advanced health care directive. She had to go to court. We had to open a conservatorship petition, and conservatorships range from, I would say, probably $6,000, $7,000 if uncontested, to $15,000 plus. It's a very expensive proposition.
On today's show, you have learned all the elements of defining your legacy, and you now will know how to have your estate plan, your will, your power of attorney in order, and so that what you want to be your legacy is that of your choosing. I'm Hope Witkowski, reminding you that knowledge, it's a powerful tool. Tune in next time for more secrets on successful aging.